As I was saying, Creative is a streamer and a hamster mom. It's just good to have her on. So welcome. So I've been watching you because you're very like authentic, very chilled, very nice streams. You do fundraisers and things, and it's just like good vibes. So that's why I was like, oh, maybe you'll come chat with us. So, so welcome. So how long have you been like actually streaming for? Because it's like it's just good stuff.
I think it's been like 2 years. I think my friend, who's a streamer too, said that whilst we're in lockdown, why don't you do some streaming? You might meet some new friends, and you can talk about what you like, your hobbies and all that. I thought, okay, I'll try it, and then
jump into it.
Yeah,
cool.
Jump into it. Make a few mistakes.
It's been good.
Anyway.
It's awesome. And so okay, so you got into it, just because you're like, we'll see what's good. That's neat. And I was just saying earlier, one of the things that I thought was really cool is that from time to time you do little like fundraiser stuff. I thought was really neat. I know you sometimes you cut your hair, and that's been for fundraisers for epilepsy, right?
Yeah. Fundraisers for epilepsy is my main thing, especially in lockdown. The charities have really needed to be more kind of funded, and so I thought, okay, I'll use my platform. But also, like, it's been especially kind of lonely for people who've got epilepsy because, being lonely and stress causes seizures, and it has been pretty terrible it would be pretty terrible for most of us. So, yeah. It's just
totally. Like if the organizations weren't out there to help, right?
Yeah, but like just having like someone like my support group has been meeting up over Zoom and now on Teams for the past 3 years.
Oh, that's cool.
Just finding to get back to usual and meet up in person, hopefully.
So important. I have a friend who has it, who years ago was looking into getting some surgeries, and it was so intense. And obviously people, don't really always know what's involved in everything, So it's like so good and so important to have groups. And also it's one of those things for as common as it is, and as long as like humans have been dealing with it, like there's like only so much that science even still knows about it in some ways. So it's like, totally, it could use more funding.
It's especially because, epilepsy is basically most of, like, all of it is involving your brain. So you can't necessarily say, okay, we'll take out this bit, but we know that it's all over. So you can't necessarily take it, like, and especially like surgery is for the so severe and severe of epilepsy. Unless you've been through all the medication, and also, it depends on the circumstances as well, especially with atonic epilepsy. So atonic seizures are basically when all of the muscles relax at once. We always talk about people who wear kind of like head braces because they just stop down and they would have like, something ridiculous, like 60 seizures per day. I mean,
oh my God, right?
That's just exhausting, or over that. So of course, those kind of cases, we need, kind of a surgery for that. But of course, every person with epilepsy is individual, so it's not
all different, because every brain's different.
So like, all the support group members that I'm part of, we all have different cases and different kind of seizures and epilepsies and triggers and all of that. So yeah, I mean, but like, of course, I've got there's like a few children that I look after at work that have epilepsy too. So I kind of relate to a particular point. But it's always, whenever I do something like raising money or whatever, I know that it's going to, a good cause, and I can have peace of mind that I'm making kind of like a difference.
Totally,
but,
and as difficult as that all is, in a nice way, like, it makes your stream sort of upbeat because you're so frequently like, hey, we're going to raise money for this, we're going to raise money for that. Yeah. You're like, I'm going to cut my hair and we're going to take donations to be, towards that. And it's just like, so it gives like really good vibes because like you're watching someone on Twitch, but also like periodically it's just like nice like fundraising stuff. So cool.
Yeah. But like, I think it's just, like, I can do only so much, but I think society in general needs to realize, look, we've got 50 million people across worldwide that have epilepsy. Only 5 million are diagnosed. So,
wow.
And that's depending on circumstances and countries and all of that. I think society needs to realize that this is very, very, it's not just a small group. It is like worldwide. We need to recognize that we're talking about workplaces. We're talking about like services such as the police. We need to, family. It's not just affect us. It affects families. It affects partners. It affects the friends. It affects everyone. So the sooner the public and our work and everyone realizes and learns about what to do in a situation when someone has a procedure or something funny happens, then the quicker that us as a society need to change our thinking and not just think, they're drunk, but we might not be drunk, we might just have epilepsy.
So is that is that a thing where like something could be happening where like you kind of seem like you're a little out of it, but it's actually not like you're saying? So like is that what happens like sometimes for some people? Like they might seem like they're a little drunk, but they're not.
Yes, some of my support group members have had instances with the police, and the police police thought that they were drunk, but obviously they were having a seizure. And
that's wild. I would have never thought of that, but that makes sense. Even though I would, what I mean? Like, yeah.
Because it obviously it's kind of similar, but you obviously they should really check like in their purses or wherever before they just jump to conclusions and say, oh, this person's drunk. It's just.
And speaking of how common it is, Ripper, who's been hanging with us today and hanging over in chat, he just mentioned that also he has a friend who was triggered in a theater, and it's like, it's just such a common thing. So, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so common. So it's great that you raise money for it and are involved in the awareness because it clearly needs more and more assistance and towards the effort of, both education and research and study and finding ways to, Yeah, so it's great that you do all that. It's awesome. Now,
all we want is we want empathy.
Yeah, totally.
as people.
Yeah.
And like children who have epilepsy find it very, very difficult to just catch up on education in general. And I think we as a group of humans realize and to help them, then we can all be a bit more nicer.
1,000%.
Considering the history of epilepsy, we come up a bit a long way, but there's still a stigma attached to it.
Which again is wild because it's been around for so long and so people have it. It's like so common, and yet still. So Architect just jumped in. Hey Architect man, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming in and hanging with us today. I appreciate it. We're talking with Creative Queen a little bit, who's also a streamer. Architect streams too. He's a musician. He plays some cool games too on stream. Super good dude. So he says that he's a friend of his passed out at a concert. And no one even realized that it was like a big thing at first. They didn't take it seriously. So yeah, because people aren't aware. Totally. And that's how they discovered she has epilepsy, he says. So yeah, such a common thing.
That's an awful situation.
Totally. So hopefully, what you're doing, all the efforts that you make are contributing to things being better going forward, hopefully, and more research and more figured out. Yeah. So yeah, good to talk about, and thanks for coming on to talk about that some. So 1000%. So there are some other things that you do on stream also, in addition to discussing epilepsy and stuff. And one of them that I can't wait to talk to you about, because I'm like, this is so cool, is your hamster mom. You got a little hamster. What's your hamster's?
I have mama.
Yeah, what's your hamster's name?
Buffy.
Buffy? So cool. Do you mind if it's cool if we show a little picture?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? Awesome. I'm excited. Check this out. Alright, friends. Check this out. Here is Buffy the hamster.
Yeah.
Friend of the stream, Buffy.
Yeah.
So cute. How, is this your first hamster? Have you had other hamsters,
Oh, no. I've had 2 hamsters prior as a child, along with my brother. We looked after them, but my parents thought otherwise, so we didn't have any hamsters after that.
So you're an experienced hamster mom.
Well, it's pretty lacking of being a hamster mom as a child. But,
yeah. I mean, when you're a kid, you're not always the best with pets. You get a little older, you get a little bit better. Here, let's show everybody another quick little Buffy picture. Here, hold on. We got the other one. There's another one. Here, I'll make this bigger, too. Oops. Hold on. Maybe I made the wrong one bigger. Here we go. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the other one, Buffy, hanging out. Yeah, so that would just be kind of a cool thing to, talk hamsters with you a little bit. So what does Buffy like to eat? What's Buffy into? What's Buffy's favorite stuff?
Well, considering the lack of communication, she eats strawberry kind of hot sweets. She likes them. Well, she eats them usually. I'm not really sure if she eats totally her muesli, because some of her muesli is in her bedding. She likes eating grapes.
Grapes, yeah.
She likes eating grapes, green grapes. Banana, carrot. Just to have some solid food.
That's awesome.
All that.
So I have a question. So I was researching hamsters in preparation for all this, and I found out that there are hamster shows. Have you ever been to a hamster show?
That's news to me.
Where I guess everyone brings their hamsters. I don't know. No, they can't hang out with each other because hamsters don't like each other. But I guess all the humans hang out and talk hamster.
They're solitary animals. So I don't think they would like each other.
Yeah. So Ripper says that if he had one named Buffy, he'd get a sibling and called Xena, which makes sense. And the Architect's a little curious if does Buffy like to be held, and do hamsters in general like to be held? Is that a thing, or do they like to not be held?
Well, I stroke her, and that's the closest thing of I kind of carry her, kind of lift her, in a different part of her cage. She and then she obviously she when I put her down on the cage, she kind of runs and tries to escape. I was like, no, those.
Like runs off, yeah.
She knows. She knows that there's an exit. It just hasn't actually succeeded because I've put the rails over. But she knows that there's a entrance. Just hasn't been good at getting it off.
Yeah. So I was always a little curious, like not being a hamster person myself, I used to, well, not anymore, but I used to get them a little confused with guinea pigs. Now I'm a little bit more educated on hamsters. But do you ever feel a little rivalry with those guinea pig owners? Are you like, why would you want a guinea pig when you could have a hamster?
Well, for me, it's mostly of different reasons why I want a hamster. One, you can only have hamsters, like I said, are solitary animals, so you can have one at a time. Guinea pigs, you need two, otherwise they get very lonely.
Oh, so, I know that. Interesting. Totally opposite ends. Yeah.
And hamsters unfortunately live for 2 years, but for me, I'm a very I go in and out of my house for work and other things, and looking after a guinea pig is pretty
yeah. So having a solitary animal who likes to be alone, it's like a little bit bigger, a little bit better setup. Looks like Ripper had a little hamster encounter as a kid. He got the X23. He got the Laura treatment where they ripped into him a little bit. It happens. Like he got a little nibbled on.
I know. Me and my parents go on holiday. So this, and my brother looks after Buffy. But long term, well, for me, hamsters are best solution because it's not so, they only live 2 years or thereabouts, and it's best for me if I have.
Cool. So
of my lifestyle.
So speaking of like taking care of and this and that, I know you got Buffy an edible house, like a whole cottage. Yeah. So how long does that take to actually eat through? Is she going to eat through the whole thing, do you think?
She's kind of fighting, or kind of she climbs on the roof. So as parts of the straw of the roof are now edging off. So
working through it.
So she's not necessarily. She did nibble on it, but it's probably now not such a nibble as of just a kind of hideout.
In my brain, that's like if we were humans and we like lived in a straight up gingerbread house, and I could just like throughout the day be like, well, do I really want this for shelter? Or do I once in a while want to just like bite into it? It's like what I think of, and I'm like, that sounds kind of like a good deal. I don't know, kind of into it. I don't know.
She's got the option of biting it or not.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a Syrian hamster is the type, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's neat. I hear those are like the most common, right? Like pet hamsters, they're usually Syrians, but maybe,
Yeah, well, in Scotland, we have the most, I think the most common breed, unless I'm thinking of us just having two kinds of hamsters. We have Syrian hamsters and wolf hamsters. And I prefer something that's bigger than what a dwarf is. So
yeah, a little bit bigger, yeah.
I can pick them up.
That makes sense. So we're gonna take away Buffy for 2 seconds because, and we'll bring her back in a second. Because I thought it would be fun, as like I do sometimes when I have guests on, if you're down to play a little bit of hamster trivia.
Oh, I'm gonna suck.
You in? That's okay.
Yeah.
Part of the fun thing about the trivia is a lot of the questions, oftentimes I do trivia, you're not. It's almost impossible to get them right, so don't worry about it. Just have fun. A few of them you'll be like, oh, okay, this makes sense, and some of them you won't, and it'll be actually it's just easy. Just have fun. Doesn't matter. So if you're ready, I have a couple. All right. First off, what do you call a group of hamsters?
Is this a joke?
No. Although it sounds like a good joke, right? You know? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Good joke set up. What's the proper
I haven't read
term?
any books.
What's up?
I haven't read any hamster books or anything. So.
Just a crowd, just a mishmash of hamsters. Hamster gang. Yeah, right, like a murder of crows. Totally, Ripper says. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, so do you want the answer? You ready?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
All right. It's a horde.
Horde.
Isn't that wild? It almost sounds like something out of like a fantasy novel, like you'd be attacked by a horde of orcs or something. But no, it's a horde of hamsters.
I'm holding hamsters. I know that's actually.
That's exactly it. In fact, from what I found out, in German, the German word for hamsters grouping actually is the same word for hoarding, because hamsters hoard food. And so that's exactly what it is. Yeah, totally. Yeah. All right, so I have a couple true or false questions for you. All right? So this is easy because it's 50-50, right?
Yeah.
So true or false, the entire Syrian hamster population descends back from one single pairing.
One single pairing.
One mom and dad hamster, one single couple. True or false? Because now they're the most common hamsters in the world. Like all these millions of hamsters are everywhere.
I'm gonna go for true because I'm a hamster.
Yeah. Absolutely nuts. Totally true. Turns out they were some hamsters from Aleppo, actually. Hence Syrian hamsters, I guess. And a zoologist brought them to Jerusalem. And now, years later, we got all Syrian hamsters everywhere. So.
Of course it's from Jerusalem.
Yeah, all from two single hamsters. Given that they were Syrian and brought to Jerusalem, I like to think that the key ingredient was good hummus. That's how they made it work. You know. Totally, right? The Adam and Eve architect that says the Adam and Eve of the hamster world.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's exactly what I thought.
Totally. All right, so I got another true or false question for you.
Okay.
Are hamsters nearsighted and colorblind? True or false? Hamsters are nearsighted and colorblind.
Are hamsters nearsighted and colorblind? Maybe I'll go for false.
You go for false? Actually, that one's true too. Isn't that wild? Yeah. Apparently, hamsters terrible eyesight. Terrible eyesight.
Oh.
Right.
Well, that makes two of us.
Yeah. Yeah, you too. Yeah, apparently they see really poorly. But here's the thing, that they're good at sensing movement. They sense movement really well. So it's okay.
That would explain a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so one more true or false. True or false, hamsters can run backwards as fast as they can run forwards.
I haven't seen Buffy move back. I think they can. I mean, I know they got legs, but I don't think I've seen Buffy go backwards. So I'm gonna go for, what was it?
So false. They can't go as quick. Yeah. Actually, that one's true also, because I'm terrible at coming up with quiz questions. So I just gave you 3 trues in a row because I'm kind of the worst. But yeah, it turns out they got these crazy weirdo little legs in the back that can actually run backwards just as quick. Nuts, right?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So this one, you're not going to be able. I'll be shocked if anyone gets this right. If you were able to get this right, so don't sweat it. But here's the question: how long have hamsters been around?
We're talking about a good 100. So I'm thinking maybe 300 to 400 maybe.
Check this out. 11 and 16 million years between. Yeah, we don't know exactly, but like, yeah, at least 11 million years. Nuts, right?
Wow. Do you think Jesus' friend?
Yeah, they were all hanging out with hamsters. Yeah, yeah, totally. Those guys. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, all yeah. all the ancient times like figures were all just like, yeah, chill with hamsters. Totally.
Just kind of a portable cage.
Running around with them. All right, so I got one last question. This one is kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know this, okay? And this is actually not a joke, even though it is a joke, but it's actually not a joke. Hamsters are famously great at absorbing alcohol. Did you know that?
You're kidding, right?
I'm not kidding. So here's the deal.
How?
So for these tiny little hamsters, right? They've got huge livers, no lie, because hamsters hoard. So they go out, they find veggies and they find fruits, and they hide them in their little like burrows, right? But the problem is when you hide fruit, it ferments. So the way that hamsters have adapted, they have giant livers. So hamsters can't get drunk very easily at all. So hamsters can like drink till like the cows come home, and they're not gonna, you know. So turns out hamsters are actually famously great at absorbing alcohol. So my question for you is, what is when hamsters go to the bar, what is their favorite cocktail? What is their cocktail of choice?
This is not a joke, but...
Well, maybe this part's a joke, but the first part was no joke. The first part, 100% real. They have huge livers.
Okay.
So what do you think? When they go to the bar, what does hamsters order?
A shot full of music.
Just full of what?
Just a shot.
Yeah, just shots, just straight shots. Yeah, totally. So I would have thought like whiskey, just go hard. But coincidentally, I was at the bar recently with some hamsters, and they told me margaritas. So the answer actually is margaritas.
Okay.
Shocker. That was the last thing that I thought. Do you know what I mean? Like I would have assumed, like, you know, but no, margaritas. That's the number one drink amongst hamsters. So thank you for playing some hamster trivia with me. So much fun.
It was
right? Architect, is that your favorite drink too? Margaritas? Right? I was shocked. I was for sure gonna go with whiskey, but alas. So before we kind of wrap up, one more thing I wanted to ask, because I know this is always a little thing that you talk about and that you discuss. You're a big manga fan. Are you reading anything good?
Yes.
What you got?
Yeah, I'm very particular with my manga.
Yeah?
Yeah, very particular with my manga. You know, I go from you know, the like different romantic, you know, I'm a big romance person, so we're talking about like different kinds of relationships, and I've got like mangas involving like mental health and disability, and I'm big with my supernatural, so like vampires, demons, werewolves.
I used to work in publishing, and over on so like I would work with hardcover books, but I had friends who would work with paperback books. And you know, like a lot of like the crazier stuff is over in paperback land, like the genre stuff. So I used to have friends who used to work with like the romance publishing imprints. So they'd always have like crazy supernatural romance books that they'd be working on. So actually, yeah, you're right. So Ripper just mentioned Tor. So I used to have some friends who I believe worked with them. But also like some of the other ones too that would be like the romance imprints, because Tor is like a fantasy imprint, but yeah, across all of them. And so there would be all these like crazy, super sexy things where it would be like shape-shifting animals who like then were also people who would kind of hook up, but like then sometimes they'd also hook up with ghosts, and that would be like every story. It would be like insane.
Oh yeah.
It's fun.
Like, you know, and like I can see and I can read like slice of life, like slice of life kind of thing, to like mature kind of thing.
Fun stuff. So it's awesome. So anybody out there who's watching, if you're into manga, if you're into hamsters, if you're you want to learn a little bit more about epilepsy and fundraising, go check out Creative Queen streams. So cool. There's her info over there at CreativeQueen92, and go check out the Insta. I'm gonna show Buffy real quick again because we got Buffy's Insta down there too, because it's 2 different Instas. We got one for Creative and then also one for Buffy. Yeah, so good stuff. Hey, thank you so much for coming on today. I super appreciate it. It was like a good chat and just good stuff.
Oh yeah. It's been great.
Fun stuff. Awesome. I think I'm going to wrap up in a second. Thank you so much for coming on. I'll catch you soon. I'll catch you in your streams. So go give her a follow. Awesome. I'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Awesome. Good stuff. So yeah, guys, go check out Creative. She's the absolute best, right? Isn't she cool? So that was, and hopefully she'll come on again soon. We'll do some other stuff. Who knows? Like, we'll play some games or something. It'll be cool. She's neat. Super great. So yeah, go check all that out. I think I'm going to probably be wrapping up stream in a second. Hey, I'm Matt, streaming to you, as always, from Brooklyn.